What is your worst experience of waking up after a one night stand? Waking up and being asked to leave, and then going outside to find my car was towed. Then having to go back inside and wait. So my car got towed. Is it okay if I stay here for a 1 to 3 hours? She wanted me to stay for the night. I didn't want to, but I did. I woke up in the middle of the night and tried to sneak out just to find out the door was locked. She woke up and asked me where I was going. Water was the only thing that came to mind. She walked with me to the kitchen, walked with me back to the room, and locked the door again. Are you still there? Do you need help? Blink twice if she's reading this over your shoulder. Blinks TORTURE out in Morse code. Woke up between a young, married couple I met at the bar the night before. I spent the morning awkwardly being shown their wedding photos from just 3 weeks prior. When it was time to politely jet, I couldn't find my other sock, at which point the husband excitedly shouts souvenir. Sounds like an easygoing couple. Woke up on the other side of London pretty happy with myself. Until I realized all I had to wear was a tiger onishi. No shoes, not t-shirt, just boxers and a tiger onishi. Going through London rush hour in a tiger onishi with the remains of tiger face paint was interesting. I could imagine myself in your situation, half embarrassed and half proud. And I think other people were envious of the hell of a night you just had. The previous night was Valentine's Day. I had just been dumped by a long-term boyfriend. I was drunk in Walgreens looking at the flowers and chocolates thinking about my ex. I then decided it would be a good idea to buy him a balloon and some flowers and leave it outside his house. Because these are the kind of brilliant ideas I get while drinking. Got outside, let go of the balloon, and it flew away. Started crying. Some dude in his car asked me what was wrong. Woke up next morning. He started telling me about how he was trying to be a rapper. Made me listen to some really bad stuff he had wrote. I had to get out. Get up to leave. Tells me I have to wait until his grandma leaves the house to play bridge with her buddies. Because he lives with her, since he can't afford to live on his own. I finally get to leave after a couple hours of extreme uncomfortable and awkward feelings of regret. As I walk out, I see his grandma had put the flowers I bought in a vase on the table. This is so sad, lol. On so many levels. It was after a Halloween party one night in college. I went home with a girl back to her place. My buddy who was with was completely wasted, so he came with to pass out on her couch. I woke up at about 5 in the morning to him at the foot of the bed pissing on it and on our feet. I said name WTF and kicked him in the leg, to which he just sort of turned and continued to piss on the floor. He then crawls into bed on the other side of her. She was still passed out, so I didn't know what to do. I couldn't get him to wake up, so I thought I'd try to just fall back asleep, and if she woke up, I'd act just as surprised as she was. I tried curling up into a ball to fall back asleep, but with the foot of the bed covered in piss, him sleeping on the other side of her and me being tall, it didn't happen. I pretty much laid there for a good hour or two. The other guy was my ride, so I couldn't just get up and leave either. He eventually woke up, after pissing himself again in her bed, looked at me. WTF happened? I was like, dude, you pissed everywhere. He got up and went back to the couch, and she woke up pretty much right after. I was pretending to be asleep, and she felt the wetness around her, and woke me up confused as all hell. I played dumb as best as I could. She was putting her nose into it and everything trying to smell what it was, and since it was straight booze it didn't have really any odor. She was questioning if her cat peed or what had happened, and I just acted as confused as could be as well. I felt bad, but couldn't tell her the truth as we kind of knew each other and had some mutual friends. My friend and I left pretty quickly after. He was super embarrassed around me for a while after. Came home with a girl from the bar. We were both trashed. Had sex. Her dog watched. She vomited on me while performing oral sex. Cleaned up as best as I could before passing out. Woke up in the morning to her mom attempting to come in, asking who was in her room. She said no one. Go away before telling me that I couldn't leave until her parents left for work. No way in hell I was staying for 2 hours with pupes. I climbed out her window on the 2nd floor and jumped off of the roof. Stuck the landing and jogged away down the street. Into a cul-de-sac. Turned around to get out and her mom is on the front lawn in a bathrobe staring me down holding her morning coffee. Walked to a gas station where a friend picked me up. Edit. Oh. And I got chlamydia. TLDR. Took a puke covered walk of shame past her mother. I was house sitting for my dad who was out of town for a week. Had a girl over who I've known for 6 years. and my dad was pretty involved at my old high school, so he knew her too. He came home a day early and found us both naked in my old bed. He thought it was hilarious. The girl and I were both mortified. Hope he chased it with a dad joke to break the tension. Well, I hope I'm the only one who came early. Edit. Thanks for the gold. I leave you with a quote from poet emeritus Tonelock. Hey you too. I was once like you, and I like to do the wild thing. We spent the night together at a party. We woke up reminiscing of the night before. He walked to the gas station to get us drinks and snacks. I had bubble guts, so I farted one time. It smelled like death. He came back maybe 10 minutes later and it still reeked, and he started yelling about dogs. Woke everyone in the house up. He still doesn't know it was me. The bubble guts and hot snakes are the worst. This gipes. I woke up to her wheelchair-bound husband pointing a gun to my face. Damn cougars. How did you escape? Had legs lol. But seriously, he just held me at gunpoint, made me get dressed, and made me leave. I fought there via taxi because she drove me to their house. Had legs. Zero chill though apparently. Woke up next to my one night stand. She had pissed the bed. There were a total of 9 people in the house, only the 2 homeowners knew each other. Everyone else were total strangers. Come to find out I'm in a different state, which to be fair is only like 2 hours away from where I live. I had to sit around in soaked clothes with a bunch of strangers while my friend came and picked me up. He made me put on a trash bag in his car lol. He punched me in his sleep, which resulted in me having a pretty bad black eye for a couple days. We are friends though, so he's never heard the end of it. I always give an FYI and apology ahead of time due to how violent I'm in my sleep for any potential cuddle buddy. I try to not fall asleep as Big Spoon. Hey, just FYI, if we fall asleep with me as Big Spoon you may not ever wake up again. Apostrophe. Night. This ensures the partner is unable to sleep due to fear and therefore avoids this situation. I was woken up by the guy's mother with cum dried all over me. You ever feel like a glazed donut? A guy I took home from a bar, whom I had previously met before multiple times, left $200 on the bedside table. I found it when I woke up. Attached was a note that just said thanks. I'm not a hooker by any means and didn't perform anything out of the ordinary. It was weird. But it paid my electric bill, so I didn't complain. I'm not a hooker by any means. But it paid my electric bill, so I didn't complain. Well, I have some bad news for you. Her 1-year-old son crawled in bed and woke me up. He thought I was his daddy. For some odd reason I didn't mind it. Man, how long were you asleep? 21 months. Edit. Shout out to my 2nd grade teacher for my mad math skills, which has given me my most upvoted comment. I served in the US Navy, and on one of our visits to Singapore I met a girl at a club called Fire, I think that was the name. Woke up at her apartment in the morning. About 2 hours from the time my ship was set to depart, after having spent all my cash the night before. No idea where I was, and no idea how I would get back. As I was trying to figure out what I was going to do, one of the other guys from my ship called the girl. It turns out that they were friends and he saw me leave the club with her the night before. He had a taxi meet me at her place and got me back to the ship in time. That's surreal, bro. There's bro, and there is make sure you aren't abandoned in a country without any money, bro. There's bro, and then there's make sure you don't get thrown in military jail for going a wall, bro. Plus missed movement during an active war is super bad juju. Article 87. My friend missed his train to get back from leaving Germany and had no cash back around 2004 or so. Not sure. He eventually turned up a few days later and spent several months in jail, he told me. With demotion and loss of pay obviously. I woke up and went outside to call an Uber home after hooking up with this girl and going back to her house one night. Turns out her dad is an Uber driver, and guess who was his first customer of the day? Hands down the most awkward car ride I have ever experienced. What did he say? Not one word the entire ride. Not a single cough or smirk. Literally nothing. He didn't even greet me or say have a nice day when I got out of the car. 5 stars. He even let me meet his daughter. There was a continental storm and she was snowed in until 5 PM the next day. Isn't that the plot of a movie? 2-night stand. It might have also been an episode in him. Went to an older lady's house one night. Next morning her kid comes in, and he's at least 16 to 17. Hes like, OMG mom, another one. Woke up to a bunch of Snapchats of my penis from the girl I slept with. She put a couple of them on her story. I guess she did this when I was asleep. Edit. We were pissed drunk the night before. Like the chick was still next to me when I was checking the Snapchats. I woke her up and had her delete them. Wasn't anything malicious. Sex was good though. Dude. Nothing wrong with that. I did the same thing to a girl I had a one night stand with. Sent from Texas Penitentiary iPhone 7. You took a bunch of Snapchats of her penis? They're asking, are we now? Probably human, but there's a small chance we're dancer. This girl's parents came home a couple days early, and in the morning I was sleeping with her in her room with a couple alcohol bottles surrounded the bed with an ashtray filled with weed, and a couple of roaches in there too. Well anyways, parents came home and went upstairs. Was completely naked with no covers on, and they just see my schlong just out in the open. I thought her dad was going to beat my ass. Probably the most awkward thing to ever happen to me. What did the parents do? Well, I thought I went deaf after the yelling fest while I was getting dressed. Removed. You're putting the bar pretty high already, man. Basically, a day after going too hard at a certain beach music festival, I woke up in a really sandy and glittery pull-out couch bed in our condo that I was sharing with my older brother, an older family friend, and they're friends with a guy I barely knew who happened to look exactly like Mac DeMarco. I was horrified because it all came in very loud. Hallway bathroom of our condo sex encounter of the fourth kind. He drank like half a handle of liquor and I remember him peeing/throwing up at the same time after us doing the deed and then falling into the bathtub. He also threw up on the floor and on my bag next to the couch. Of course. He woke up and didn't remember a single thing. I honestly felt so bad for him and ashamed that I did that in front of my fam that I took him to Waffle House and hung out with him at the beach. Needless to say, not my proudest moment, more like my worst moment. Edit. Just thanks for all who made this my most upvoted comment. I'm glad I can share this small misery with my fellow redditors. Ah yes. The definition of salad days. Woke up at 6 AM laying in the guy's pee. Hottest guy I've hooked up with to this. He ruined it by peeing the damn bed. Was his name Hallie? One day I hope you succeed in your quest to find the Hallies of both genders mentioned here and of all other variety unmentioned thus far. Back when I lived with my dad, I took home a friend's sister from the bar. Pretty messed up. Don't remember much. We were awoken by 4 guys with guns, drawn, yelling at us to get out of bed. Turns out I was being raided by the friendly local drug task force. Sitting on the couch with my dad and this chick, whose name I could barely remember, while they tore up the house was interesting. We all ended up getting arrested, and I haven't talked to her since. She tried to add me on FB a couple years ago. I guess I made a good impression. Edit. To anyone who was following this, I requested more info from local clerk of court. I didn't get much. The arresting report is only available for me and doesn't specify what the chick's specifics, and her info has been taken down, sealed or expunged maybe. But I did find that she had arrested F/POS schedule 4th substance, and then her final outcome was null/no info. POS tie. If anyone can interpret that better than me, be my guess, but it looks like whatever the charges, they were no info in the end, so she got off. What the ps? That's what I said. What drug? Oxy, Xanax, marijuana, and some antidepressant I think's are lawful. The kicker was she got arrested and charged with the antidepressant because it was hers, and in her person she didn't have proof of prescription. Edit. As many have pointed out, I may be mistaken on the identification of the pill in her person. Furthermore, what exactly she was charged with? All I know for certain at this point is she was arrested. I've requested to view the arrest report via my local clerk of court website. I will update the original post with more info when the doc becomes available. I'd love to be able to share the report with anyone questioning the event, but I still naively hold on to some sort of attraction toward privacy and can't decide if it's a poor choice to do so. This was a Craigslist hookup when I was 20 to just starting to cross-dress. Went over to this guy's house after texting him for a few days. Nice house on the north end of town. He's 30 and we smoked a lot of weed and heaps me stupid in about 3 different rooms. I did not plan on falling asleep there at all. I wake up at 10 in the morning. I'm still wearing my white thigh highs from the night before and my white crop top, no panties. I'm in his bed and he's not anywhere to be found. I find my phone and my sneaks and my panties. Put my sneakers on, and I'm just walking around this dude's house looking for my boy clothes. It's a 2-bedroom, so it's not like it's a mansion. He lives alone, so the house was really clean, which was somehow more frustrating cause it was so much quicker to search every room multiple times for my clothes and wallet. Around 11 o'clock I notice that my phone is about to die. I start texting my roommate. I'm just gonna come clean to my best friend about my whole lifestyle and all of this, and as I'm typing out this confession of me being a sissy and needing a ride home from a hookup, my phone dies. I start crying and I'm just like wandering the house, and suddenly I bump into this sliding door I hadn't noticed before. It's Up's laundry room. My goddamn clothes are folded on the dryer. My wallet and keys are placed neatly next to them. I swear I have never felt such sudden and gratifying relief in all of my life. Sounds like a very nice guy. He was. He apparently thought he had texted me and told me about the clothes, but I never got that text. Showing that not everyone on CL is a complete creeper. Family member after a wedding reception with an open bar. Can't remember much as she can not either. But we both woke up in the nude with multiple used condoms all over the hotel room. Exactly how far apart are your branches on the family tree? Hahaha, just a cousin. Just a cousin. r/Alabama. Woke up alone before dawn inside a beautiful house with no furniture. The fact that it was such a big house made it even more unnerving that it was empty. As I slowly walked through the house to find where this person went, the large blank rooms began to fill with the pre-dawn bluish light reminiscent of sci-fi movies. I started to become nervous and returned to the now illuminated bedroom. The only place in the house that even looked remotely lived in was the bedroom, which of course had a bed. But now that I could see better, I realized what else was in the room with me. It's hundreds of Diet Pepsi cans. Just Diet Pepsi cans stacked from the floor up, row after row, lining the walls. Now I could see there was a dresser in there with cans stacked on top of it. Every corner, the window S, when I looked closer and realized they were empty cans, meaning this person wasn't collecting them for monetary gain or anything. Just drinking and stacking them, I guess. So yeah, no note saying how to lock up or a phone number. Just cans and an empty house. I walked out the door and drove back into town. Creeps me out to this day. Edit. Just found this person on Facebook. Considering sending a message to ask what the is with Pepsi cans, since I never asked. Not sure how to word it. Edit. Thinking what's with the soda can house is the funniest way to ask so far. Pepsi vampire. You slept with the Pepsi vampire.